Did you know that Georgia isn't just the peach state, it's a state of mountains, marshes, music, and magic, or that it's home to one of the world's oldest living organisms, the first gold rush in American history, and islands where wild horses still run free? Well, get ready, because we're about to uncover 25 incredible facts about Georgia, a state where history hums through the pines and the landscape tells its own story. Before we begin, make sure to subscribe to GlobeX for more cinematic journeys across America and comment "Peach" if you love the Peach State. Fact 25. The Empire State of the South. Georgia didn't earn its nickname just for its size, it earned it through power, perseverance, and pride. By the late 1800s, it had become the industrial engine of the Southeast, a state that rebuilt from Civil War ashes to lead the region in cotton, lumber, and steel. Textile mills buzzed along its rivers, railways stitched together its cities, and ports along Savannah and Brunswick shipped goods across the world. As decades passed, that spirit of ambition never faded. It evolved. Atlanta became the transportation hub of the South, home to the world's busiest airport, Hartsfield-Jackson, while Savannah's port grew into one of the largest on the Atlantic. Even today, Georgia connects people, products, and ideas like no other southern state, from peaches and peanuts to film studios and Fortune 500 headquarters. It bridges the old and the new, where southern charm meets global ambition and where progress is still written in red clay. Fact 24. From mountains to marshes, Georgia is like an entire continent in miniature, a state so geographically diverse it feels like 5 different worlds stitched together by the same sky. To the north, the Blue Ridge Mountains rise like a wall of mist and melody, their slopes carpeted in rhododendrons and echoing with the sound of waterfalls. To the south, the Ocefenokee Swamp sprawls across the horizon, a shimmering blackwater wilderness alive with cypress, moss, and ancient stillness. In between, red clay hills roll toward endless farmlands and pine forests that glow gold at sunset. You'll find limestone caves in the northwest, deep river canyons in the west, and sandy marshes that blend into the ocean in the east. Few states hold this much contrast, from the crisp chill of mountain air to the humid whisper of coastal breezes, all within a single day's drive. That's Georgia, one state, a dozen worlds, all beating with the same southern heart. Fact 23. The Ocefenokee, land of trembling earth. Vast, mysterious, and older than memory, the Ocefenokee Swamp covers nearly 700 square miles of southern Georgia and northern Florida. It's one of the largest and most pristine blackwater wetlands in North America, a world where the ground literally moves beneath your feet. Its name, derived from a Creek word meaning land of trembling earth, comes from the floating peat mats that rise and fall like a living creature when you step on them. Here, every ripple tells a story. Alligators glide silently through dark waters, egrets stalk the shallows, and cypress trees stand like ancient guardians, their roots coiled in shadow. At sunrise, mist drifts low over the water. By evening, the swamp glows amber under the last light of day. It's haunting and peaceful all at once, a place where time slows to the rhythm of nature's breath. The Ocefenokee isn't just a swamp, it's Georgia's beating wild heart, untouched, unhurried, and eternal. Fact 22. Stone Mountain, a monument of time and controversy, rising nearly 1,700 feet from the rolling Georgia plains. Stone Mountain is the world's largest single piece of exposed granite, a mountain sculpted not by man, but by the earth itself over 300 million years. From a distance, it looks like a gray wave frozen in motion, but up close, it feels like standing before the bones of time. On its northern face lies one of America's largest rock carvings, a depiction of Confederate figures that remains one of the most debated monuments in the country. For some, it's a reminder of a painful past. For others, it's a symbol of endurance. But beyond human history, the mountain itself tells a far older story, one of fire, pressure, and transformation. At sunset, its smooth granite surface glows pink and gold, as if lit from within. Thousands hike its trails every year, standing at the summit to watch the Atlanta skyline rise in the distance. Stone Mountain is more than controversy carved in stone. It's a monument to nature's patience and a reminder that rock endures far longer than memory. Fact 21. The Barrier Islands, wild shores of the Atlantic. Along Georgia's 100-mile coastline lie 14 barrier islands, strung like pearls between the mainland and the sea. Each one tells its own story of tides, time, and transformation. On Cumberland Island, wild horses gallop along empty beaches, beneath ancient oak canopies draped in silver moss. On Sapelo Island, descendants of the Gullah Geechee people, once enslaved Africans who built communities along the coast, still preserve their culture, language, and rhythm of life. Jekyll Island, once a retreat for America's wealthiest families, now welcomes travelers seeking peace among dunes and driftwood. And farther north, Tybee Island keeps its lighthouse burning bright, guiding ships just as it has since the 18th century. Most of these islands are protected parks today, places without neon signs or traffic, where the loudest sound is the ocean breathing in and out. They're the untamed edge of the South. Proof that Georgia's most beautiful stories are written in sand, salt, and silence. Fact 20. The first gold rush in America. Before California ever struck gold, Georgia did. In 1828, miners discovered gold in the hills near Dahlonega, sparking the first major gold rush in U.S. history. The rush transformed sleepy mountain towns into booming camps, complete with saloons, tunnels, and dreams of fortune. Though most miners moved west by the 1850s, the legacy remains. You can still pan for gold in Dahloneg's creeks or visit the old mines where pickaxes once rang against stone, echoes of ambition that shaped an era. Fact 19. The Peachtree Puzzle. Atlanta may be famous for Peachtree Street, but here's the twist. There are over 70 different Peachtree streets scattered across the city. None of them are named after actual peach trees. Historians believe the name came from pitch tree, a reference to pine trees that once leaked sap along the trails. Still, the name stuck. And today, Peachtree isn't just a street, it's a symbol of Georgia's identity. Sweet, resilient, and uniquely its own. Fact 18. The river that divides and connects. The Savannah River forms Georgia's eastern border, flowing gently between Georgia and South Carolina, before spilling into the Atlantic. Its waters carried native traders, colonial settlers, and steamboats filled with cotton and dreams. Even now, it remains a lifeline, powering hydroelectric dams, feeding farmland, and defining both boundary and unity. At night, the city of Savannah reflects in its current like a painting, history mirrored in motion. Fact 17. Savannah, a city built on grace. Founded in 1733, Savannah is one of America's oldest planned cities, a masterpiece of squares, oak-shaded parks, and cobblestone charm. Its architecture blends English order with Southern romance, iron balconies, pastel mansions, and gas lamps flickering beneath mossy branches. But Savannah's beauty runs deeper than design. It's a city that's seen revolution, war, and rebirth, and through it all, it's kept its soul. Walk its streets at twilight and you'll hear it, the soft hum of history wrapped in the sound of cicadas and church bells. Fact 16. The mountains that touch the sky. In the far north, Georgia rises into the Blue Ridge Mountains, part of the ancient Appalachians that once towered higher than the Rockies. Here, trails like Blood Mountain and Amicalola Falls lead to views that make you forget the modern world. The Appalachian Trail, stretching over 2,000 miles to Maine, begins right here in Georgia at Springer Mountain. It's where thousands of hikers take their first steps towards something greater, a test of endurance, solitude, and awe. Georgia's mountains don't just shape its skyline, they shape its spirit. Fact 15. The heartbeat of Atlanta. Modern Georgia beats to the rhythm of Atlanta, a city that rose from ashes to become a symbol of progress. After being burned in the Civil War, Atlanta rebuilt itself from the ground up, earning its motto, Resurgens, Latin for rising again. Today, it's a powerhouse of business, culture, and influence. The world's busiest airport connects it to every continent, while the city's skyline glows with innovation. From civil rights marches to music studios, Atlanta is more than Georgia's capital, it's its pulse. Fact 14. The birthplace of civil rights. Georgia shaped some of America's greatest voices for justice. In Atlanta, a boy named Martin Luther King Jr. grew up on Auburn Avenue, a street that would later be called Sweet Auburn, the heart of Black enterprise and hope. From the pulpit of Ebenezer Baptist Church, he spoke words that moved nations. Today, the Martin Luther King Jr. National Historical Park preserves his home, church, and resting place, a sacred space reminding the world that change begins with courage. Fact 13. The mighty Chattahoochee. Winding 430 miles through Georgia, Alabama, and Florida, the Chattahoochee River has shaped life here for centuries. Its name comes from a Creek word meaning painted rock, and its waters supply drinking water to millions. The river's flow powers cities, sustains wildlife, and gives rhythm to life in the Southeast. Locals fish, raft, and swim in it, but for many Georgians, the Chattahoochee is more than water. It's a reminder that life, like a river, always finds its way forward. Fact 12. The trees that touch the sky. Georgia's forests stretch over 22 million acres, covering nearly two-thirds of the state. Towering longleaf pines once blanketed the South, and Georgia's replanting efforts have helped them return. These forests are more than scenery. They anchor soil, shelter wildlife, and breathe life into every sunrise. If you stand in a Georgia pine grove after rain, you can smell the earth's gratitude in the air. Fact 11. The call of the coast. From Tybee Island's lighthouse to St. Simon's golden sands, Georgia's coast is a wonder of contrast. Part wild, part refined. Salt marshes shimmer like glass at dawn, and dolphins follow shrimp boats through morning mist. The tides sculpt the shoreline daily, whispering new stories to the dunes. It's a coastline both timeless and alive, one that feels less like a border and more like an invitation. Fact 10. The miracle of the marsh. Georgia's coast isn't just beautiful, it's alive. Stretching for more than 100 miles, the salt marshes of coastal Georgia are among the most productive ecosystems on Earth. These wetlands filter water, protect the shoreline from storms, and nurture life, from shrimp and crabs to herons and egrets. At low tide, you can hear the marsh crackle, tiny snapping shrimp popping like rain on tin. It's the quiet sound of the coast breathing, an ancient rhythm that connects sea to land and life to life. Fact 9. The city that saved Coca-Cola. Atlanta isn't just a transportation hub, it's where a global brand was born. In 1886, pharmacist John Pemberton mixed up a caramel-colored syrup in his backyard that he sold as a tonic. He called it Coca-Cola. The drink caught on so fast that it became a symbol of American optimism, and Atlanta became its permanent home. Today, the World of Coca-Cola Museum celebrates the story of how one idea in Georgia became a taste known across the planet. Small beginnings, big bubbles, endless legacy. Fact 8. The Warm Springs of Hope. In the quiet town of Warm Springs, a future president found healing. Franklin D. Roosevelt first came to these natural springs in the 1920s, seeking relief from polio. The warm, mineral-rich waters gave him comfort, and the town gave him perspective. He later built the Little White House here, where he led the nation through the Great Depression and World War II. Today, Warm Springs stands as a tribute to resilience, proof that even great strength can come from still water. Fact 7. The peanuts that feed the world. Georgia produces nearly half of America's peanuts, and those humble legumes helped shape global history. In the early 20th century, scientist George Washington Carver developed hundreds of uses for peanuts, revitalizing Southern agriculture. Later, Jimmy Carter, a peanut farmer from Plains, Georgia, carried that legacy all the way to the White House. From soil to diplomacy, Georgia's peanuts have nourished both body and spirit. Fact 6. Music that moves the soul. From Ray Charles to Otis Redding, from the Allman Brothers to Outkast, Georgia's music is a mirror of its people, soulful, diverse, and deeply rooted. In Macon, the air still hums with blues. In Athens, guitars still echo from college basements that birthed alternative rock. Atlanta's streets pulse with hip-hop, a rhythm that carried local voices to global stages. Georgia doesn't just make music, it lives it. Fact 5. The Longleaf Legacy. Before highways and cities, Georgia was covered in endless forests of longleaf pine. Their trunks rose straight as towers, their needles whispering in the wind. For centuries, these trees provided timber, resin, and shelter for countless creatures. Today, after decades of decline, conservationists are bringing them back. Walk through a long-leaf forest at sunrise and the golden light turns every needle into glass. It's a reminder that restoration isn't just about saving trees, it's about remembering who we are. Fact 4. The city that rose twice. Atlanta is often called the city too busy to hate, and for good reason. After being reduced to ashes in 1864, it rebuilt itself into the symbol of a new South. Then, a century later, during the Civil Rights Movement, it transformed again, from the heart of division to a beacon of unity. Today, Atlanta's skyline glows where fires once burned. It stands as living proof that destruction doesn't end a story. It begins a stronger one. Fact 3. The Great Divide and the Great Connector. Running through the middle of Georgia is the Fall Line, a natural boundary where the hard rock of the Piedmont meets the soft sands of the coastal plain. It created waterfalls, power sources, and port cities like Augusta, Macon, and Columbus. In a way, the Fall Line built Georgia, dividing its land yet connecting its people through trade and travel. Stand where river rapids fade into tidewater, and you can feel the moment where mountains become sea. Fact 2. The oldest state park in the nation. Established in 1927, Indian Springs State Park is considered one of the oldest in the United States. Its mineral springs have been flowing for centuries, once believed to have healing powers by both native tribes and early settlers. The water still bubbles up cold and clear from the earth, a steady voice of time beneath the Georgia sun. People come to refill bottles, to reflect, or to remember that some gifts don't need progress, they just need protection. Fact 1. The spirit of Georgia. Georgia is a contradiction and a masterpiece. Its peaches and pine trees, skyscrapers and slow rivers, gospel choirs and roaring cicadas. It's the mountains in the morning mist, the marshes that glow at dusk, and the heartbeat of cities that never stop evolving. From the civil rights marchers of Atlanta to the wild horses of Cumberland Island, Georgia stands for perseverance. It's where grace meets grit, and where the past never stops teaching the present, because Georgia isn't just a state, it's a story, and it's still being written. And there you have it. 25 Georgia facts you won't believe are true. From the Blue Ridge Peaks to the Barrier Islands, from gold rushes to gospel, this is the Peach State, a land of resilience, rhythm, and roots. If you enjoyed this journey, make sure to subscribe to GlobeX for more cinematic stories across America, and comment Peach for 10 years of Georgia good luck. Thanks for watching, and remember, even the most familiar places can hold the wildest secrets.